Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see
That was so slow. There's some wonky stuff going on. Did y'all hear the theme song kind of jump around? That was a good song, wasn't it? ADHD in the house clearly this morning. I love my ADHD. Look, anything they ever tried to give me a pill for ended up being a superpower. Trick no good. Cheers. How'd that work out for you? Good morning. Wait a minute. I must be sitting crooked or something. My skin ain't glowing like it's supposed to. Let me turn this down. Oh, no. Oh, see, they got jokes. See how they say, you look better now in the dark. Dang. Look. See, y'all may not get it, but we have that kind. That's how we roll. And when I say we, I mean everything that is greater than me. Everything that is greater than me. We have that kind of relationship. Because I know one thing. I look for the promises in this universe, and one of them says that I can count it all joy, everything. So you know what? No matter what, if we can't joke and yuck and chuck it up through the hard times, what kind of relationship is it when we only show up like that in the easy times? That sounds like a transaction, doesn't it? Somebody's after something, right? No, we want unconditional all things that serve us. Can I get an amen? I'll kick it off. Okay, listen, I don't know where that came from. Yes, I do. But I didn't know it was coming until it got here. And that tells me that we are all here and we have just enacted yet another one of the promises. Just because there's more than two of us here, already things are working for us, for all of us. I got a new thing I want to start today with today's guest. Y'all ready for it? I didn't know I was going to change things up. Trust me, it's not the theme song. I remember the brick that came through the window when I tried that 4 years ago. I still think that was you, Cherry McQueen. I'm kidding. Okay, and there was no brick. Metaphor. But what I'm saying is, remember the wall of purpose upstairs all those years ago, right? And when I moved into the studios, I put this is actually a box. One of the trophies from the Next Impactor competition, right? Those Crystal's trophies, was in one of these. And it's not like I've been lugging this thing around. It's just been sitting on the floor, but it's just falling apart. And I said, why is the box falling apart? And then I heard the greater than say, because you're supposed to do something now differently with the contents of the box. Now, these are all the Post-it notes that carried. They acted like surfboards, you guys. Real quick, this is the monologue today, so I still got 2 minutes. These people used to say, the rock stars, people that coach me used to come here when I have events. They stay here in the house, right? And they would look at the wall of purpose and they go, look at all those sayings on Post-it notes, or those Post-it notes with sayings on it. I said, no, you're wrong on both. That is a manifestation that just happens to be sitting on top of a Post-it note. So when I moved down to the studios, all the ones that had manifested, proof of them are hanging all over this house. But most of them are hanging right here on my heart. All these things came true off that wall. Poof, they're in this world. Now all these, I thought these must be on their way, right? So I kept them in this velvet box. Last night, I heard, starting today, instead of saying, here, take a minute to say what you need to say to what you woke up with on your heart. See, Kevin Parker backstage can hear this. That up until yesterday, that's how we started every show with every guest. But today, Kevin Parker gets to start it. He's the first one. So you know about what I love about first. You guys hear anything that's a first is memorable. You remember your first apartment? You remember your first job, your first car, your first boss? You know, that first ass whooping? You remember all that shit. So do. Right. And there's a reason. Because it's an honored spot in our lives. It's a marker. You'll always look back and say, that was the very first time, right? Everything after that, if it's 100 more times, it was everything that came after your first. So today, I have reached into the box from the wall of purpose and allowed the box to give me the thing that we're going to start our conversation with. So without further ado, Kevin Parker's on his way in so we can find out how he's opening the show today. No pressure. You guys hear it? You guys are going to love this guy. There's nothing not to love. And get ready because you're going to be changed in a very special way. I promise. Here he comes. Put some hearts on the screen, won't you? Kevin Parker on the way. I'm fooling around back here. Let me change the background. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing fantastic. It's an honor to be on the show.
It's an honor to have you. I'm gonna keep it real. We've been having all morning. I have like 4 internets here, and all of them were kind of wonky. Even the hardwire, and I gotta have my frequency music going behind me because that's good woo woo. There it is. Get it, mushrooms. They're my favorite. So listen, do you heard what I said? Where are you in the world?
I just moved to Phoenix, Arizona.
No, I used to live there.
Oh, no kidding. Small world.
Yeah, I was stationed there for years and years at Williams Air Force Base in Apache Junction. And then when I separated, I stayed in Phoenix, and I lived in Mesa first at the Country Club Apartments, those white ones right by the Superstition Freeway. Right. And then moved all the way over to 40th Street and Camelback.
Wow.
Camelback Place apart. I mean, not Camelback Place. That's 40th Avenue. 40th Street was North Bank. Yeah, yeah. So where do you live? What part? It was probably a little.
I'm in Ahwatukee Foothills, which is right near Chandler.
I know where it is. Ahwatukee was the first big settlement out there. Come to Ahwatukee.
Yeah.
Ahwatukee.
Beautiful,
nice.
Beautiful area.
Where'd you move from, Kevin?
I lived in New York City my whole life for 37 years. And then I moved to California in Orange County for about 1.5 years to open up a detox center.
Now there's our lead in.
But I really went out there to meet my wife, which was the real divine purpose for me going out there. We just got married. We bought a house in Ahwatukee, and we're planning to have kids soon.
Oh, well, I got to ring the bell of purpose on that. That's a little miracle maker right there. Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. So are you prior military?
I am not.
Tell us give us a little of your origin story if you could, because you want to see what's on the
yeah, I mean, we're doing
how you gotta put this in. Now you get to set it. Everybody that's gonna come on the show after you, when I pull one, they gotta do the same thing you do. So here it is. Anytime between now and when we wrap the show at 56 minutes after or thereabouts, you got to work this in. You got to work it in, okay? Because you know something about it. Are you ready? On this paper, Kevin is going to be challenged with the task of bringing in, never forget what problem you solve. Never forget what problem you solve. And I'm going to turn that into a banner so that we'll be looking for a way to bring that in. Let's see what Spirit does today. So give us a little of your backstory, if you could, kind of just say how. Now, I guess we're going to keep the old thing too. It's just not up front. So here, take the stage.
So I want to start it briefly from how this transpired in my life. At 2 years old, my mother moved in with my stepfather. Unfortunately, he had a son my age that went through a traumatic event. At 2 years old, he got attacked by a wolf. It completely mutilated his face. It ripped off his entire scalp, and he even took one of his ears. But the thing that it took away from him the most was his peace. And he transferred all that pain into me. He would tell me that I was worthless, that I wasn't loved, that I didn't belong there. And I remember at a very early age, about 5 years old, I was suicidal. I would tell my mother I wanted to kill myself. They wouldn't want to hear it. So as soon as I had the opportunity to numb myself with drugs and alcohol, I did. And by 9 years old, I was drinking and smoking just to ease the pain, to get through the day. It was like slapping a Band-Aid on a broken leg. And it never really solved anything. It was a poor solution to a problem that in result became an even bigger problem. And this kept going on until I was about 18 years old. I got through high school by the skin of my teeth, and I got hit by a bus at 18 years old.
Okay, stop there. Okay, where's my pen? Ooh-wee! Okay. Look, I don't know what y'all thought, because I was like, ooh, I wonder if Kevin Parker's going to be like pulling teeth. There are people like that. You know what I mean? And listen. Okay, so let's go back. Wow. You need to put one of those disclaimers up on the screen before you throw all that out there. Jesus, good Lord. Okay, wait a minute. Man, so you know a little bit about trauma, huh, Kevin?
I was forged in the fire of trauma, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Now, I knew a kid like you. I ain't kidding. Anybody from Niles, Michigan watching? Because I got some presents there. Hey, buddy, everybody in Michigan. I'm going to tag them when we get out of this show. Because listen, there was a kid. I wonder where he is today. Brian Galbraith was his name. 3rd grade. He lived, his house bordered our playground to Oak Manor Elementary School, right? So when we go on recess out there, he climbed over the little rickety fence. And it was one of those ones you could bend, like, wire. And he'd just get over there, go in their shed where their lawnmower and stuff was, and get his Marlboro Reds. And then he'd light up one and roll the pack up in his sleeve. And we'd all be standing there. And one time, he stole one of his mom's Salem's. And that was the day we all decided we wanted to try. And do you know something, though? No, seriously. There were 4 of us that day tried that cigarette. And do you know all 4 of us ended up smoking when we were older? And we said, I bet you it was that day. So, because we were all there. But what would possess? How can a kid of 9 be drinking? What were you numbing? I mean, you were numbing but you know what I'm saying? How did you know? How did you get it?
Well, I was physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually abused as a young kid. And from all of that, I wanted to run away. I didn't know how to deal with it. I felt like a prisoner in the place that I lived. I thought my brother was the devil. I thought that I was going to be tortured for the rest of my life. And I was completely helpless, hopeless, and powerless.
Where was the adult protection? Where were the people at that were supposed to be taking care of you because you were the kid?
Well, my mother and father broke up at 1 year old, and I moved in with my stepfather at 2. He was dealing with his son that just got attacked by a wolf.
Oh, and that's
so like no matter what he did, he wasn't wrong. They never let him fall on his face or deal with the consequences
because he had already paid so much.
Yeah, so they always were in guilt trip mode. Like no matter what he did, just leave him alone. He's been through so much, and they kind of kept a blind eye. And everybody in the house were drinking at the time. It was the 90s. It was a lot looser than it is these days, and it just kind of went by the wayside.
So Kevin, was it? Do you? Now I just want to know. This is a tough question because it almost makes me feel like it's forcing you to assume something. But just tell me what you think, because sometimes people when they get they're enabling, of course, the adults. But then did he start seeing the power, realizing the power that he had, and abusing it maybe? Because I saw a lot of traumatized kids in the system in foster care, and I knew some who would do that.
So there was clear physical scars on him. He
was, of course,
twice the size of me, and I was a kid moving in, taking the attention of his father that his father and mother just divorced. So I was kind of the enemy moving in, and he would like steal food off my plate. He'd steal my toys. He was
antagonizing you.
Yeah, he'd steal my toys. He'd chase me up trees and pelt me at rocks. Knocked me out of the tree once. Like,
what was the age gap?
He was actually only 3.5 months older than me.
And what age were you when you got into the same space?
2 years old.
Well, wait. No, he didn't start doing that stuff at 2.
He didn't start chasing me up trees at 2 years old, but the beating up, the taking toys,
when did it get like? Okay, you look, Joker. Look, I done put up with your shit since I was 2. I'm 3.5 now.
Well, I stuck up for myself once in the 3rd grade because like I was always the smallest kid and he was always the tallest kid. At 3rd grade before school one day, he kicked me in the back and I smashed into a concrete pillar. I turned around and I swung at him and I missed him by like this much. And he cocked back and knocked me out cold. I woke up with a black eye. I whited out and in front of everybody in school.
What is that?
What?
I've heard of blacked out. I never heard of whited out. That's a thing.
Whiting out is when you see a big, huge white flash It's a little bit before being completely knocked out. But I was down, I fell on the floor. I was seeing stars. I completely seen a big, huge white flash. I had a big, huge knot on my face like this. And that was like the nail in the coffin. Like, if you ever stick up for yourself, you're done.
So, okay. Let's move along the timeline. Did you guys stay in the same space until you graduated high school? What happened when you were teenagers? Because it can get rough when you're grown ass men, practically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing when you're kids, but when you start, you know.
So as we got older, he started making it more humiliating and more public, and started having more people follow in with the bullying and the antagonizing and the abusing. Like, he started bullying me like 5th, 6th grade in front of everybody. I mean, I remember one time he took one of my mom's toys, let's call it a toy, and smacked me around with it in front of all my friends.
Wait a minute. Let's just get the elephant out of the room, shall we, Richard? Is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
Oh, wow. See how I did that, y'all? They won't even have to bleep the bleep. They won't even have to do that. Clever. So, okay. I got to ring the bell. Now, wait a minute. What's that doing? Wait, wow. Okay. It is time. Please paint a picture of the environment. So take the camera and show us around the space where this took place. What did it look like? Was it food everywhere? What did it look like?
So this, in general, the environment that I lived in,
where if somebody can get Richard.
So my mother,
are there drugs? Is this paraphernalia? Is it porn playing on the TV?
No.
Are people laying around from the party last night? What's it look like in there? Or, are you listening to Earl Roberts on the TV? And
so we had friends in the neighborhood in the same block. We would hang out in the backyard. My brother's father was a fireman. He would leave for 24 and 48-hour times. My mother and his father drank a lot. So my mom would go to the bar, and they would be out. We'd be unsupervised. And my brother liked to go through people's stuff. He liked to steal. He liked to go through everything. He rummaged through her stuff. He seen it and was like, "Oh, I'm going to bring this out in front of all the friends."
Yeah. I got it. Okay.
And beat him with it.
And that's what happens when adults aren't being adults, and there's no, I get it. Because what did they call it? Because I was one of those. I'd be all up in I'm not kidding you. Anything in my mom's room. One time I got tore up. I think it was an extension cord whooping, because you could do that back then and not go to jail. Tore my ass up, right? Because she'd been looking for something for like months, right? And I was sitting there doing something, and there was a whole bunch of church women there. She's like, "I don't know what happened to my Fox stole. It was, I had it. I know my sister. I know Rena took it when she was here." I said, "No, it's in your closet, way behind those boxes in the corner with the." So she was like, "Thank you, really? How you know? So that was called probing. You've been all probing him. So your brother was a prober, right? So let me ask you something. Did you guys ever get through that?
Yeah, that was later on in my story, about 33 years old, when he went to jail.
He went to jail.
Yeah.
How's he doing today?
He's not doing drugs at the moment, anything hardcore.
That's good.
He's now living here in Arizona as well. He's got a job for the first time in a while.
In Phoenix or just Arizona?
In the Arizona area. He's about 45 minutes from me. I don't know the area.
How's your relationship?
Well, I was one of the only people, burnt every single bridge he ever had growing up, and he went to jail for.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
He burnt every bridge, every relationship he ever had, and he went to jail for selling guns and selling meth to an undercover detective.
Oh, he wasn't playing. He was serious with his wow.
We can go on for hours.
Okay, so how different? So he's somewhat different. He's doing better.
So I took the first stance. I went there. Nobody visited him in jail except for his father, not his mother, not his other
jail
brother.
Or prison.
It was county jail before he got sentenced to go far away. He only spent about 10 months because his father spent a ton of money to get him out on the defense of him having mental issues from what happened.
Which is a real thing.
Which is a real thing, yeah.
Now, let's go there. Let's talk about that. Because like you said, the 90s. Now, to me, that seems like yesterday. I'm like, what is that's modern? You got to remember when I talk about the olden days.
Well, you could still get a whooping in the 90s. You could still get a whooping in the 90s, and
you could.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in my culture, you could.
I know that's right. So let's go back. So okay, so would you say? What would you? How did you start evolving, Kevin? At what point? And let's talk about this. How did you deal with the PTSD, the trauma? Did you get professional help? Did you have some awakening? How did things begin to turn for you, the corner?
Well, the first solution was to do drugs. It did not work. Obviously, it was a poor solution to a
I didn't
problem.
mean that corner. That's a ditch.
But what happened to me, which was the turning point of my life at 25 years old, I actually overdosed and ended up in a coma. And in that coma, I flatlined 3 times. It got so bad, they had a priest come in and read me my last rites.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Now, in this coma, before I did this, I was a complete atheist, didn't believe in the universe, God, nothing. I thought a black cloud followed me everywhere, that life was torture.
I'm beginning to wonder.
A horrible place. But in that coma, I experienced the presence of God. I experienced the presence of a higher power. And for the first time, I felt peace and joy.
Oh, can you talk? Did they put a gag order on it? They usually don't, but sometimes they might.
Well, it's actually, the coma is the first chapter of my book. I started with the experience in the book, so I don't want to tell you the whole entire story, but it was this really, really dream state, and it was just such a comfort and joy from my transition to almost dying to coming back. Now, to explain this a little more, I flatlined 3 times. It got so bad, a priest came in and read me my last rites, and everybody, as my friends and families were lining up to say their goodbyes, before they pulled the plug, nothing short of a miracle, I just woke up. The doctors were blown away. They didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. They were like, this got to be a fluke. They would say things like, I heard them say.
Turn to that. No way it's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's got to be a fluke. You know, they sell them over on eBay. Flukes, everybody got one.
So the first words that I heard them say is, listen, don't get too excited. Telling my parents, he's not going to make it through the night. If he survives, he's going to be a complete vegetable. He's going to lose all 4 of his limbs, and he's never going to be the son you once knew.
Okay, so was this a candy striper that said Susie Sunshine? Because put that bitch out the room. Who is this with all this doom and gloom? Who is saying this?
Well, the doctors, because I had multi-organ failure, my liver, kidneys, lungs.
But I get it. So are you saying this was almost like, like some of us have experienced people on hospice who are in the stages of dying and they'll wake up and have a bunch of energy and then die the next day? We just went through it with my husband's wife. Mother. So yeah, and I've seen my mom did it. So was it kind of like that?
So like
what happened after you woke up and said, did it drop?
No, it took me 4 months to get out of the hospital.
So you went forward from there.
I was up and down. So I woke up with multi-organ failure, liver, kidneys, lungs, heart, brain completely shut down. I had 105 fever, topping out at 108. They had me under ice blankets. My brain was frying. I had 20% oxygen to my brain. My blood pressure plummeted. I was on 24-hour dialysis. I had sepsis of the blood. My blood became toxic.
Okay. Lord, I'm like, good Lord. And then I can't even come up. I was going to try to come up with some funny thing, and then a rhinoceros, stuck his horn in my left buttocks, I'm like, that's the only thing left.
But wait, there's more.
But okay. So let's go here. All of this is happening. What did you feel was behind it? For instance, some people might lay there and think, oh my God, I'm cursed. Some people might lay there and go, what did I do to deserve this? In other words, a lot of people would think it was something bad, but nonetheless, how bad could it have been? You're here. and you're using it. Ding, ding, ding. Time to bring it in. Never forget what problem you solved. This is a new thing, y'all, where it comes up. So, okay.
So the problem that you solve is the problem that you're most qualified to solve.
Yeah.
You learn through your pains. You learn from your traumas. You know, I feel like God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You know, because
hey, did Kevin Parker just drop a golden nugget? Say that again.
I say that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So all your trauma, all the experiences, all the problems and issues that you deal with is your training ground to add value and save other people that are struggling with the same exact things. So now I look at everything like everything in life is either a blessing or a lesson. The good thing is lessons are blessings. So if you look at it, everything is a blessing. You just have to have the mind to find the gold nugget in the experience.
Now here's somebody sitting there with a double fractured femur right on the front end of a lucrative ice skating career. Okay, I had to add that. I'm just saying for impact. But it's so difficult, Kevin, when we're inside. Here we go. This is a trick one. This is a trick setup. I'm letting y'all know. But wait a minute. It's so difficult, Kevin, when we find ourselves in the eye of the storm. Oh, or is it? That was a trick question. And here's what I mean by it. The eye of the storm is the safest and most calmest place. The eye of it. All the storm is whirling around you. It's in a tornado. It's in a hurricane. It's in all of them. The eye of it. The eye of the hurricane. The eye of the storm. The eye of the tornado. You see? The windows are the eyes to the soul. All of these. So I'm just saying the calmest place and the safest place is right in the middle of it. You see what I'm saying? It's going to always be something swirling around us. Right or wrong, Kevin Parker? You know, you got one of those names.
Right.
I'm getting ready to add your name to the list. Seriously, I have a list. Joe Barnes, my ex-brother-in-law. Ted Hall. Another ex-brother-in-law. I'm kidding. He was just a friend of the family. Ted Hall, Joe Barnes, Kevin Parker. People where you have to say both names every time. Do people say Kevin Parker a lot?
Yes.
And not just Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin Parker. I know. It just goes together like peanut butter and jelly. Kevin Parker. Oh. But is that the same as Candyman? Remember that? What was that guy's name? Right. I know. I couldn't watch Scary Movie. Oh, no. I'd go and wake everybody up from them. Can I sleep at your house? So, Kevin, talk to me about this piece. I say to people, especially kids, hold on. That trauma. Trust me, one day you're going to understand that trauma, the moment you experienced it, believe it or not, it's the moment that what is greater than you marked you officially for greatness. So let's talk about how you feel about your job in this world today. The commitment you have, because you and I have talked about easing suffering in the world. Why is it so important to you? Why do you think you had to go through or needed to go through or were asked to sacrifice and go through, no matter how you slice it? It is surrender to your destiny. Why do you think your destiny involved you having to go through all of that shit?
Well, it cost me an arm and a leg. I'm now an amputee.
Wait. Literally?
Literally. I was going to get to that part. There's so much more to the story, but this is my leg.
I'm done. I cannot. Kevin, all this, and you know what? This is remarkable. I knew that, but forgot. Talking to you.
Yeah. I was supposed to lose all 4 of my limbs, but I only lost 1.
Tell him.
So I woke up, I had multi-organ failure, sepsis to the blood, 24-hour dialysis. I was bleeding out. They couldn't stop the bleeding. All 4 of my limbs were black, filled with fluids. I had gangrene in all 4 of my limbs. And they said I wasn't going to make it. 2 weeks went by, nothing happened. And then one day the doctor came in and said, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is, I think you're going to make it. I think you're out of the woods. The bad news is we're going to have to take your leg tonight or you're going to die. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm hooked up to about 10 different machines. I have tubes in my throat, tubes in my lungs, tubes in my private parts of my stomach. I'm 100 pounds soaking wet, skin and bones. I'm thinking in my head, I can't talk. I'm like, take it. All my bad luck was in that foot anyway. So
how old were you then, Kevin? I'm sorry.
26 years old.
Oh.
And I was an athlete, and I was a very, very athletic, competitive person. A lot of my identity was into my physique. I mean, I was in always great shape, always a top athlete, played sports my whole life. When the nurse actually picked up the blanket and I really seen that they took my leg, I was like, wow, this is real life. This is really my life. And then immediately what goes through your head is, how am I going to live my life? I did construction my whole life. I can't do that anymore. What woman is going to want to marry a man with one leg when there are literally billions walking around with two? I listed everything that I thought I would never be able to do. And let me tell you, I have done every single thing that I thought I wouldn't be able to do. I've accomplished. I've knocked off every single thing, except I haven't surfed yet, but I'm going to do that soon. I box, I climb mountains, I skydive, I go to the gym. I ran an 8-minute mile last week. Like, I'm doing phenomenal. And what I always like to tell people is, don't ever let anybody ever tell you what you can or cannot do. Your only limitations are your mindset and your faith. There are miracles that happen every single day. And just to add on to that, because I know we have a limited amount of time.
Keep going. I'm taking notes.
So they had me on a breathing machine, right? Because I had double pneumonia and I was filled with throw up. I aspirated. So they would lower the oxygen low enough that I'd have to struggle for each and every single breath, but high enough that I wouldn't die. I felt like I was being waterboarded for like 3 weeks straight. And then when I got out of the hospital, they told me it was going to take me 2 years to learn how to walk because I was only 100 pounds. I had nerve damage through my body. I was like, don't tell me what I'm going to do. I'll show you. And within 2 weeks, I came into the prosthesis office, walking completely unassisted. And within 2 months, I was running. So like that just shows you that your mindset and the ability, your will to keep going is your only limitations. And then on top of that, when I got out of the hospital, I had complete nerve damage and drop wrist and atrophy in this hand. And they said I'd never be able to move this hand again. And this shoulder, I couldn't lift. And I was a righty. So I'd have to use this arm to pick up this hand to do everything. And I was a righty and I had to learn how to do everything lefty. So for 9 months, I stared at my hand every single day. I was like, come on, we've been doing this our whole life. Just move. It's like, I don't have a job. I got all day. I'm not going anywhere until you move. And I must have looked like a crazy person to my family. But after 9 months of not giving up, I looked down and my finger wiggled. I was like, that's all I need to know. Started getting my finger to wiggle. Then I got my hand. Now I have about 90% use of my right hand. But I learned how to do everything with my left. So I'm ambidextrous.
Right. Thank you. Because I'm like, it's not like you're 90, you're 190.
Yeah.
See, let me just say, what I heard the other day? I had a download. And it was speaking to exactly what you just described. You all listen to me. This is real. Let's say the man who is, and this is for real. This is spiritual art. Get ready for this in 3, 2, 1. So Kevin Parker, before all this happened, let's say the you that's sitting in front of us was ensconced inside of a giant piece of marble or wood. And what is greater than us took the implements and carved the man out of that we see. But guess what? Here's the difference, because what he is, if we were to be able to look down on the floor that he was carved right on in the very spot, I guarantee I would defy you to find one shard of sawdust or scrap of loose marble. Because what I'm looking at, everything, there was no waste. There was no extra. There was nothing to sweep up and discard. Everything was used. Everything was purposeful. Everything. All of it. Every drop of it. That is what makes something qualify as a miracle. You won't find any scraps.
Amen.
That's powerful. Look anywhere. I didn't. That's what you should tell people. Look around my world. I dare you to find any scraps. Whoa, that's powerful. Kevin. This has been, boy, look at here. And it's like time has slowed down during this interview. I keep looking up like, surely there must only be 2 minutes left. and I'm looking and I'm like, what in the world? How can it only be? Because you said, I am telling you that, okay, let's switch to this. You tell us. I want to hear about the anointing.
All right, so this is where my life really changed, because the worst, everybody thought that me losing my leg and overdosing and all the stuff would have been the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like I said, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. He qualified the calls. I wake up every morning. I have to put my leg on in the morning before I take a single step. And it reminds me of where I was and the gratitude and how I was saved from almost losing everything. And I made a promise to God in that coma that if I get through this, I promise I'll change. I promise I'll make a difference. Just give me a second chance. Well, this wasn't the second chance I would have asked for, but it never is. But I've been utilizing every single day, every single moment to help other people that are struggling with mental health issues, addiction, everything that I've ever struggled with. I became an expertise from the experience that I've had. I became super focused. Oh,
no, that's
super focused. Like, I've studied every book. I took psychology. I became a certified recovery coach, a family coach, a drug interventionist. I have an in-home detox center where I've customized the recovery program. I've spoken, I've written a best-selling book to tell my whole story, winning against all odds.
Talk about, where can they get the book? Tell them real quick where they can get that.
It's on Amazon on paperback, Kindle, and audio if you like to listen to your book.
Okay, you keep talking. We're gonna get that for you, and we're gonna drop it in the comment section. Keep going.
So everything that I've learned, even the trouble with my brother and the trauma and everything, it taught me how to forgive. I had to suck everything up and go to jail. Nobody would visit him. I went to jail and I forgave him, and I gave him a book, and I actually bridged that gap so we can actually create a wonderful relationship. And let me tell you, forgiveness is one of the most powerful things you can ever do, because all of that trauma, all of those things that I was holding on for so long just fell off. You know, holding a grudge is like holding a burning hot coal and hoping the other person feels that pain.
And who was the other one that they say, it's like drinking a poison and expecting it to kill your enemy?
Yeah.
Powerful,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, like, none of these things I ever thought I'd be able to do. And even when I was in the hospital, I had a stepmother that had stage 4 cancer spreading through her whole body, but she sucked it up for 4 months to take care of me night and day. And the day that I got out of the hospital, she started to rapidly decline. And that very next birthday, she died on my next birthday. And on her deathbed, she said, you know what, God spoke to me and he told me that you are going to do amazing things. All this stuff is going to turn into good. Promise me you're going to make a difference. Promise me you're going to write a book. And at this time, I'm this skinny little frail kid. I have no confidence, no self-esteem, no image, nothing going for me. But I had to promise her that I was going to write a book, that I was going to do something.
Or so you thought.
So I thought. Exactly.
See what I'm saying? Or it didn't look that way.
No.
See, you guys, listen real quick right here. Write this down. And if not, download it onto your spirit. First of all, there are no mistakes. That's just what the universe and God has to do to keep our shit interesting. Why would anyone want to be interested in us and what we offer if we had 0-calorie stories? Stories that didn't have any nutrition, and nutrition is the healing within your story. There's no shortage of woe is me stories, but what you come out as, what you choose to come through with, and then what you do with it the minute you find yourself within safety. See, the thing is, a lot of people talk about falling forward. That's nice. But you know what? When we were originally created, there was a built-in protection, like a net for when we stumble, and it was called Falling in Love. We've turned it into a romantic reference only. But falling in love means that when things like everything you listed happens, if you surrender to what you are falling in, you will find me in the middle of it waiting for you, and I am love, and that is home. And that is the only way, Kevin Parker, I'm able to look down on the ground of the place around you and see that there are no scraps. I literally saw it. I looked down and I saw it was finished, and there were no scraps. Every single thing was used. And now it's up to you to keep using everything as well. And that is a great testimony. I'm telling you, you've touched me today. You've changed me today. I'm serious. Now, you remember, can I be vulnerable? Can I share with them before we came on?
Vulnerability and authenticity are superpowers.
Remember,
I always welcome that.
When you first came in and I was giving you the instructions about the little cue and all that stuff, and you were a little nervous or something. Remember?
I was multitasking, and I
you were
don't know
multitasking, but still, I have ADHD. I can multitask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm getting at is there was like a little something, and I just, it was like they sent in the lifeguard. All of a sudden, I saw myself in a lifeguard outfit, which I've been waiting for. I was like, oh, about time. Why couldn't you put me in this when I was 23, right? When I had a lifeguard body, right? And anyway, but then running out there and seeing you and saying, no. Shh. You don't. And I said to you, do you remember that this is a beautiful thing, you guys? And that's why if you want to start sharing your story, call me. It's a conversation. When you start having a conversation, look at the things that came out of Kevin Parker's mouth. You wouldn't think that'd be something. Oh, have lunch. Tell me about that leg again. Did it hurt? That's not how, but you're able to talk. Somebody could say that to you, and you'd say, you know what? It was what I saw here, and then you got more than just the obvious answer. You saw hurt, all right, but you saw a lot more around you in the world suddenly than you felt for yourself. I know it to be true because I see the reflection of it in your soul. I'm looking in your eyes, is what I mean. So, Kevin, tell everybody about this. What made you, this sounds like a movie, Winning Against All Odds, and it sounds, wouldn't that be nice? But who is this true warrior? Tell everybody who that is.
Well, the true warrior is the true warrior within all of ourselves. It's stepping into your higher power, stepping into the inner strength that you've already had within inside you. But taking each and every single moment, every adversity, every ounce of pain, every tear, and turning it into power, turning it into purpose. Like he said, not wasting a single scrap, figuring out what the value is in every single thing and pushing through. You'd be amazed on how truly powerful you are when your back is up against the wall and you have no other options. That's why they say burn the boats if you're trying to achieve something, because you have no other option but to succeed. Right. We all have a warrior inside of us. And really tapping into that strength is where you start actually living. And most people aren't living these days.
What would you say they're doing? Surviving, existing?
They're stuck. They're getting distracted by all of the stimulation that's in society today, whether it's scrolling, watching TV. They're going through a program. They're just going through the motions, the same exact repetitive day over and over and over again. They get up, they go to work, they eat, they go to bed. They get up and they go into, and you're not actually experiencing life. You're just repeating the same day every single day. You're not pushing yourself. You're not stepping a little out of your comfort zone. I'm not saying go climb Mount Everest, but climb an extra 10 flights. Climb an extra, and the compound effect of doing a little more each and every single day, by the time you look around, you'll be in a completely different place. But if you don't stretch yourself, if you're not growing, you're dying. There's only two ways to go. There's no such thing as staying still. You're either growing or you're dying. So if you're doing something that's not helping you grow or expand physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, you are slowly dying. That's the process we're in.
Tell him then, Kevin Parker.
Yeah. So I've embraced change. I've embraced challenge. Every time I either have a good day or a crappy day. And when it's a crappy day, I'm like, bring it on. because I know I'm getting better, stronger, wiser, and faster because of it. So every single day is amazing for me because I know that I'm either growing or I'm enjoying my day. Either way, I'm winning. That's why I say winning against all odds. No matter what, I win. You can't beat me. Life can't beat me down. There is nothing that's going to stop me. It may slow me down. It may be difficult. It may be painful, but I'm going to be bigger, stronger, and wiser because of it. So bring it on, because ultimately I'm going to win. And because I've almost died, I'm going to get every single last drop of juice out of this small, precious life that I have. And I really, really try to inspire and motivate people to do the same, because you don't know how much life there really is.
Let me just say this to you. You can hang that apron up. You can retire that jersey. You don't have to try to inspire people anymore. Open your mouth and it is done. Do you hear me? Ain't no trying to it. Ain't no trying to it. The value of our journey can be found within the price that we paid along the journey. And let me tell you something. Low-hanging fruit. You ought to get a shirt. No, because then somebody going to think you being nasty. You know what I'm saying? If I see somebody in a t-shirt that says low hanging, a man or woman, low hanging. Woo, you got that right, girl. Oh, I'll just stop. Stop now. Y'all stop. You know what's funny. If you stop, I've seen worse. A guy told on a kid at the health club this morning because he had a shirt that said spreadsheets #MF, but the words were spelled out. And he was like 14. They found he was going to 8th grade or something. I was like, who bought him that? He just walk around with cuss words like that. But anyway, that's the world we're in, y'all. Kevin. I got to make it right because I said we say both names. Parker. What an amazing journey. And what an amazing, let me tell you something. The antidote that you brought from that poison today, powerful, brother. I am telling you, powerful. When was the last time you stood on a stage keynoting? And when is the next time? We want to make sure people, I'm sure you do a lot of keynote speaking.
Well, I did in the past. I haven't in a while, but I've really been focusing on trying to get on more stages lately.
Well, we're going to help you do that. Sit backstage. I got an idea for you.
Yeah, I did a 3-year hiatus building a detox center with some friends, and the business agreement didn't work out. They're still doing it, but I stopped.
That's okay. You're going where you're supposed to be. Yeah. Listen, you guys, if you'd like to get in touch with Kevin, along the screen below you right now, we know us where we're sitting is his Instagram, true.warrior.success. And also head over to Facebook. You'll find him over there. Similar, but just a little different. True_warrior_success. And you can always just Google Kevin Parker. Oh, you'll find him all right. And if you can't find him there, call me. I'll have something for you. I'll get you to him. Listen, I just want to say thank you. Seriously, Kevin. I felt like I was on the zipper. You ever been on the zipper at the county fair? That was one of I couldn't wait to get tall enough to get on the zipper. I was like stretching, putting stuff in shoes and stuff, trying to be taller so I could get, because the zipper was an exhilarating ride. And your story today was nothing less than one hum zipper. See how I did that? Wasn't a hum zinger. Okay. All right. Kevin, man, stay backstage. I only want a couple minutes. I got an idea. Now, okay. Any final words? You can take 1 minute. Tell them, if everybody was going to forget everything you said today, Kevin Parker, what would be the one sentence, the one phrase, the one, and the moral of the story is that you would leave with people and hope they never forget?
Well, I'm going to use something that Dr. Wayne Dyer said, because he's one of my favorite authors. And he said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, put this in perspective. If you're going through a struggle, if you're going through a challenge, try to shift your perspective, shift your diaphragm, your frame of mind.
Just don't slap anybody in the face with it. Full circle moment.
Yeah, and really look for the gold nugget in every experience, because there's a way to win, grow, and get better from failures. Is it good from success? Everything is a learning experience. So utilize it to become a better person. Forge yourself in the fire and create purpose from your pain.
There you go. And you guys, remember he was supposed to work in? Never forget what problem he solved, and boy, did he ever.
Yeah.
Remember this, lose all limiting beliefs. We learned that today. He solves that problem. Remember, the lack of proof that miracles do exist. He added to the proof that they do. So he's solved that problem for us today. And this one, drop the mic, write it down, doesn't call the qualified, qualifies the calls. Make sure yours doesn't go to your voicemail. Pick up when the call comes, right? Listen, get out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing day so far. It's only going to get better. Get out. Find an E and an R and take everything that's already great to greater. Bright to brighter, smart to smarter, bold to bolder, and my personal favorite, kind to kinder. Now listen, don't you dare let Dr. Lauren's screen door slam on your way out of here. But come back tomorrow morning. I promise to meet you out on the front porch for another illuminated conversation. And I tell you every day as we leave, get out there and change the world. Dr. Lauren loves you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you. Have the best day ever, won't you? Thank you. Oh, Kevin. Woof. Stay backstage. I'll see you in just a second. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine.